Here we are at the Roundup Rodeo BBQ here in Toy Story Land at Disney's Hollywood Studios. This all-new family-style dining location is going to open up very soon, but we're going to give you a quick little tour, kind of check out some of the details, and hopefully get a look at the food items. Like most of the stuff here in Toy Story Land, everything is larger than life. Everything from we've got our little dominoes as well as our plugs. We've got our light bulbs above us, and all of this amazing color that you expect from the Toy Story brand, as well as the Toy Story locations that are here in the park. I see a sign that says Howdy Partners, so we're gonna head inside and get some grub. I don't think they'll enforce this, but technically, you gotta be 1 year old to come here. Maybe plus, 1 or older to get a reservation. So once you walk in, you can check in for your reservation, and the little kids can grab one of these and giddy up all the way to their table. So now let's go ahead into the space.
Wonderful. We've got some of the kind of watch
The grand reveal, as you can see, it's really, really big, which is perfect because you're supposed to be really, really small. We're down to the size of a toy, and we're going to eat some of the food, some of the barbecue-inspired food, and check out some of the space. So one of the first things to notice is you can get these wooden-style tables, or there's the colorful tables in the back. One of my favorite details, though, is hidden way over here. Gotta love game pieces like the Monopoly pieces here. Bo Peep and her sheep are absolutely massive and are probably the biggest centerpiece in this entire restaurant. And while it might be a little hard to see, along the back here is actually a ruler, so you can see your exact size as you are compared to some of the toys and some of the characters inside of this land, which is really cool because that's one of the only spots that you can directly see your size as compared to everything else that's happening in here. Now, of course, as I said, we've got Bo Peep. We're going to go check out some of the food here in a second, but we've also got this first side that we walked in. And I really like how Andy combined the different types of toys. So you've got some of these flat cardboard pieces along with some of the 3D plastic toys, and then you've got little details hidden on the ground, like, I can't tell exactly what it's supposed to be, but you can see the floor here is a weird material, almost like it's like a plastic or a wrap that you would have seen on some of the food that you get at a barbecue. And we can see some of the target here. If we go around to the other side, this is one that took me a second to find. We've got a Woody's Roundup bandana here on the floor. So even the floor is going to be really highly themed. As again, we've got the toys, we've got the stuff on the walls. It is detailed to the max. And here we are, walking out of a gigantic carton of milk. As with anything in Toy Story Land, for any of the Disney parks, you're going to be that miniaturized, tiny little size, but don't worry, when we check out the food, you're going to see that the food is very big portions. You might have also noticed a very similar shot. Here, guys, here's your food, because we happen to show up on Good Morning America as well as Disney's B-roll at this exact table. To take from some of those famous sayings, I may not be a waiter, but I play one on TV.
Here at Roundup Rodeo BBQ, we have a barbecue-inspired comfort food menu, all served family style. You're going to start off your dining experience with these fresh-baked cheddar biscuits. They'll be brushed with clarified butter, served warm, and served with this sweet pepper jelly. Absolutely fantastic. Then you're going to get a selection of all three of these salads. So we've got our cubed watermelon with fresh torn mint, romaine and kale, crispy apples, pumpkin seeds, dried cranberries, and one of my favorites is actually the marinated tomato and cucumber salad with house pickled red onions. Okay. Then we transition to really the star of the show. So we've got our house smoked meat platter. We do all of this in-house. We have a smoker behind the restaurant. You'll smell those logs burning as you come into Toy Story Land. And we have hand-trimmed beef brisket, 48-hour brine smoked chicken, smoked glazed pork ribs, and on our wood-burning grill, we finish our, there's a snake in my boot, pork sausage.
Very nice.
Now with this platter, we have 8 different sides that you can choose from. So you get a selection of 4.
Okay.
A few that we're highlighting today, we have our force field fried pickles, our buckaroo baked beans, which are actually plant-based, served with smoked jackfruit to kind of give you that essence of the pork in there. Our cow poke street corn, And then our Slinky Dog mac and cheese. Special noodles in there, kind of spring out of that bowl as you enjoy that side dish. For our plant-based guests, we have a smoked cauliflower with harissa drizzle and walnut gremolata, roasted bratwurst, and an impossible rib chop. Highly seasoned barbecue essence of impossible meat, formed and skewered on sugar cane, glazed with sweet barbecue sauce, and oven roasted.
Okay.
And then as your meal comes to an end, what barbecue wouldn't be complete without a pie? So we've shrunk down our pies. Every diner gets a mini pie in a jar of their choice. We've got a chocolate cream pie. We've got a rhubarb peach, blueberry with lemon curd, and a classic apple pie. And for our little riders, we've got cupcake a la Forky. Really rich, dark chocolate cupcake, vanilla buttercream, finished off with that sugar cookie of Forky.
And they can just keep coming out again and again because it's the family style, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you said all you really wanted was the fried pickles and a certain kind of meat, you could just get those two to keep coming back
Absolutely.
out. Okay. And then the question we got to ask is, what's your favorite?
Oh, that's like asking what's your favorite child,
Yeah.
right? But really, I love the fried pickles. They're so unique because they're spears. They're not pickle chips. The chicken, also huge favorite, super juicy, but you can't go wrong with the brisket.
Yeah.
The brisket, fork tender, it's absolutely fantastic.
And that's cooked in the smoker. Is it cooked over a couple hours? Is this like a 24-hour process?
It's really like a 2-day process.
Okay.
So we hand trim the brisket, and then we season it. We allow it to sit overnight. Then we smoke it for about 6 hours, pull it out of the smoker, do the classic wrap in paper, fold it, put it in the slow cooker, and then it cooks for several more hours, and we do that process every day.
Now we're going to try out some of the options, including this super cute little Forky cupcake. We've got some of the meats they talked about, the biscuits, the peach iced tea. I'm just going to try some of the iced tea. Iced tea with a little hint of peach. It's exactly what it said. I also got to mention this plate. This looks like the little paper plates that you'd have at your house, like you'd have at a barbecue, but it's, you can't hear it, but it's a real ceramic plate. Very cool, and it's actually got some of the Woody-inspired designs underneath. So I like the little details like that. Of course, as you know, Disney in the details always happens. No knife. That's the confidence they have. There's no knife that I can cut this with the fork. And you know what? That was an easy cut without a knife. It's a very good brisket. I'm actually going to scrape off some of the sauce and try it just as is, as you can sometimes hide the taste with the sauce. It's a tender brisket. That's good. Next, we need the mozzarella here in just a minute because we got some smoked ribs. It's tender. It's a little sweet. I wouldn't say it's anything super special, but it's a good rib. We've got our biscuits here, our cheddar biscuits. Now, when I hear cheddar biscuits, to be honest, I think of Red Lobster, but we've got here a sweet pepper jelly that goes with it. So that is what's got me curious. That with the sweet pepper jelly, that's the best thing so far.
Is it really hot?
It's not spicy. It's got the idea of a pepper, and it's got like the thought of a spice, but it's not actually. Like the sweet takes away from the spice. That's actually really good. And the biscuit, you can tell how kind of fluffy it is. It's kind of hard to show it off, but it's very fluffy. It's not one of those like rock solid biscuits. This is really good. That's the best thing. And nothing says starting a meal like immediately ending it with dessert. So they've got the mini pies, a bunch of different options as you saw that you can get. Also very good. But I like it. It's good. This still wins. That is of all the things we tried, by far those biscuits with that jelly, I didn't think I was going to like it. Sweet pepper jelly, I normally don't. That was the best thing on the menu. While not confirmed, it appears that Russell from Disney Pixar's Up is hidden here amongst all the details. So we are in this extremely detailed restaurant. Can you give us kind of a backstory of what it took for Andy to build this place in Toy Story Land?
Okay, great. And thanks for noticing already. Andy has built this wonderful extension of Toy Story Land. Toy Story Land, of course, being Andy's backyard. Andy went off to cowboy camp. He had a great time. And as children do, he came back really excited, and he wanted to add something to his backyard, and he wanted to add a little bit of cowboy fun. So he has taken a playset, this Roundup Rodeo playset, and he's mashed it together with a number of other toys, school supplies, whatever he can get his hands on. He's a very spontaneous, creative kid, and he's created a rodeo arena for us as honorary toys to step into, to cheer on other rodeo contestants. So Bo Peep and her Leaping Sheep, Trixie and Jessie. And while we are cheering on these contestants, we're of course also enjoying really great barbecue.
So speaking of cheering them on, every once in a while I've heard kind of audio loops playing. What's the backstory for those and kind of what's happening?
Sure. So great. Thanks for listening closely. This is, of course, a feast for the eyes. All kinds of visual spectacle here. If you look around, you'll see some of our characters are actually facing inward into the arena to cheer on our contestants. But as you mentioned, we're also going to hear some characters as well. We're really excited to have, at this point, decades of Toy Stories to play with, and characters that are familiar to guests of all ages, right? And not to age anyone here, but you and I probably grew up with Toy Story, with Andy's toys. So we're going to hear some familiar voices to bring the story to life in different ways, right? We have the opportunity here as Imagineers to situate our guests in Andy's backyard for an extended period of time in which they're able to soak up all the visual details, but then also hear bits and pieces of characters. We're excited to showcase Toy Story toys here in new iterations, right? So if you think of, Jessie and Trixie, the stars on the other end of the dining room. This is a different Trixie than we know her, right? This is a pull toy version of Trixie. This is Jessie, but in a miniature version, sitting atop Trixie. So we're excited to embrace the different ways that they may appear and show them off to guests so that they can experience these toys from different perspectives.
And we know that Imagineering and Pixar are always hiding little things. Is there a hidden Mickey or a secret element that guests might not notice on their first visit?
I will say one of my favorite details is something that might seem a little strange, but just over here we have it's a Buzz Lightyear toy console game. A game that was fully developed to be something on which Bo Peep and her Leaping Sheep stand on. And there's the rules of that game all considered. Again, you're seeing the tip of the iceberg here, and part of that are also just how this game would come together. And so you'll see that there are little screws, which at first glance you might think are like real-world mechanical screws. This is part of the show. This is part of the intimate detail of that particular toy that we encounter, again, at the size of an honorary toy.
We did see the ruler, and I believe, is that the first time in this area that you can see exactly your height? Because you could gauge it off of how Woody looked and others, but I was about 2 inches tall, according to that ruler.
No, that's a great question. It's actually one of my other favorite details is the ruler forms a bench back, so guests, the kind of thing that might overlook, right? But if you take a seat and look behind you, you'll see that you're sitting on a ruler or against a ruler that Andy scrawled his name on.
There's no way to eat a Mickey premium bar without biting Mickey's ears, and there's no way to eat a Forky thing without, well, eating Forky. Bye.